Hey, what's up, everybody? BDL44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the score was 108-106. The Lakers got the victory in Utah. That game was entirely too interesting, y'all. Entirely too interesting. I do have some things to say, but let's get into the stats and GameCast first, and then we'll get into my thoughts. First quarter, 32-30, the Lakers won the quarter. Second quarter, 30-25, the Lakers won the quarter. Third quarter, 26-22, the Jazz got the quarter there. And in the fourth quarter, the Jazz got us by 125-24 for the 108-106 victory for your Los Angeles Lakers. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was a lot. 44% from the field, the Lakers shot 38 of 86. 10 of 38 from the three, 26% for the Lakers. 22 of 27, 81% from the free throw line for the Lakers. For the Jazz, 40 of 94 from the field for 43%. 13 of 40 from the three, 32%. And 13, that was the three-point shot, by the way. 13 of 18 from the free throw line for 72% for the Jazz. Both teams had 45 boards. The Jazz had 10 offensive boards. The Lakers had 5. The Jazz had 27 assists. The Lakers had 23. Both teams also had 7 steals. The Lakers had 4 blocks. The Jazz had 2. Both teams also had 14 turnovers. The Jazz had 11 points conceded off of those. The Lakers had 10. Fast break points, 26 for the Lakers, 18 for the Jazz. Both teams had 54 points in the paint. Wow, it's a lot of that. And 13 was the largest lead for the Lakers, and 7 was for the Jazz. Let's get into the box score. I'm ready to talk about this game, so let's get through these numbers. LeBron James, 34 minutes of play, 17 points, 8 of 18 from the field, 0 of 4 from 3, 1 of 2 from the line, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, minus 14. I thought the King was pretty solid. A lot of, only 2 turnovers, but it felt like there was more going on there. The three-point shot looks bad, so he's going to have to work through the kinks, and this is just his second game back, so I'm not concerned. I thought he looked okay. Rui Hachimura, 29 minutes of play, 13 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 4 from the line, 6 rebounds, 1 block, plus 2 for Rui. DeAndre Ayton had 13 minutes and he ended up getting hurt in this game. Bumped knees or something. Contusion is what they're calling it. I doubt he plays on Tuesday against the Clippers. 2 points, 1 of 2 from the field, 3 rebounds, 1 steal, minus 4 for DeAndre Ayton. Luka Doncic, 40 minutes of play, 33 points, 10 of 24 from the field, 3 of 12 from the 3, 10 of 12 from the free throw line, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 turnovers, 3 steals, plus 5. He gets the game ball from me, but I give it to him reluctantly because I don't think he played amazing. In fact, I do think there was a role player who may deserve it a little more than he does, but I'm still giving it to Luka because just the volume and difference of production. It's just a significant difference, but I think there was a role player that deserved it as well. Austin Reeves, 40 minutes of play, 22 points, 7 of 17 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3. Both of our stars there shot. All of our stars shot bad from the three-point line. We got 4 threes between Luka, LeBron, and Austin. Not good. 1 of 8 there for Austin, as I mentioned. 7 of 8 from the free throw line for Austin. 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 turnovers, 1 steal, minus 1 for him in 40 minutes of play. Maxi Kleber is who I'm considering here for the game ball, even though I did give it to Luka. 14 minutes of play. He only had 2 points, 1 of 2 from the field, 3 rebounds, 1 turnover, 1 block, 2 offensive boards, a plus 1. But he looked really good out there in the minutes given with Ayton going down the second half. He was very much involved in a lot, physically pushing around, making things happen. Just a significant amount of effort from Maxi Kleber, and I thought he filled in very well for us, even though the production doesn't tell you that. I thought he played hard, and that's what we're going to need from him going forward. Jake LaRavia, 13 minutes of play, 5 points, 2 of 6 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 1 rebound, 2 assists, a plus 1. I thought he should have been on the floor more. Jackson Hayes, 18 minutes of play, 5 points, 2 of 2 from the field, 1 of 1 from the line, 4 rebounds, plus 2. I thought he should have been on the floor a little more. I did. Marcus Smart, 17 minutes of play, 6 points, 2 of 6 from the field, 2 of 6 from 3 as well. 1 block plus 18. The shooting leaves a lot to be desired. Gabe Vincent, 20 minutes of play, 3 points, hit his only attempt on a 3 and a shot. 1-1 from both the 3 and the field. And 1 rebound there, 1 turnover, and 1 steal. I thought a 0 on the plus minus. He was all right. I thought Gabe Vincent hit a big clutch 3-point shot. Down there a little too much for me. 20 minutes is a lot more than I would prefer him have. And yeah, that'll kind of get into my commentary for this game later on. Let's get into the Utah Jazz. 36 minutes of play for Lauri Markkanen. He was pretty big, especially down the clutch. 20 points, 8 of 19 from the field. He did have a very bad shooting night, but did kind of clean it up a little bit in the end. 2 of 7 from the 3. Hit both his free throws, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 1 turnover, 1 offensive board, plus 19 for Lauri Markkanen. Jusuf Nurkic, 31 minutes of play, 11 points, 5 of 6 from the field, 1 of 1 from 3, 0 of 3 from the free throw line, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 3 offensive boards, a plus 14. A really good game for Nurkic. He played pretty well. Svi Mykhailiuk, 28 minutes of play, 12 points, 5 of 9 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 turnover, plus 9 for Svi. Keontae George, 39 minutes of play, 27 points, 10 of 23 from the field, 4 of 10 from 3, 3 of 4 from the free throw line. That boy is shooting a lot, and he's making shots. 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 turnovers, 1 steal, a minus 4 for Keontae George. Ace Bailey, he jumped off the screen, especially on that putback dunk in the third quarter. That was spectacular. 32 minutes of play. He had 10 points, 4 of 10 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, a plus 14. The future is very bright for young Ace. I'm looking forward to seeing what he turns into later on. Kevin Love, 13 minutes of play, 4 points, 2 of 5 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, 9 boards, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, 3 offensive boards, a minus 7 for K-Love. Filipowski kind of got feisty down there in the third quarter. He and Maxi Kleber got into it a little bit and kind of fired up Flip. 20 minutes of play. He had 4 points, 1 of 4 from the field, 2 free throws of 2 of 2, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 block, a minus 27. That block was ferocious too. He blocked Maxi Kleber. It was Jake LaRavia. And it was spectacular. There, Taylor Hendricks only had 1 minute of play, hit his only 3-point attempt, and that was it. Cody Williams, 3 minutes of play, 0 of 2 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3, a minus 9 for Cody. Bryce Sensabaugh, 15 minutes, 5 points, 1 of 8 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 from the line. Bad shooting. He did chip in with 3 rebounds and a minus 11. And Isaiah Collier in 23 minutes had 10 points, 3 of 8 from the field, 0 of 2 from 3, 4 of 5 from the line, 1 rebound, 3 assists, 2 turnovers, 1 steal, minus 8 for Isaiah Collier. And that completes the box score for this basketball game. So my problem with this game was we pushed all of our old stuff to the front of the line and just made it play all night. And we were old and we were short, we were unathletic, and it was a struggle because of it. When you're going up against the Utah Jazz, you want your younger, more athletic players on the floor, in my opinion. And I know it's a long season, so you want to strategize certain things. Some games it's really good to put all your worst stuff to the front of the line. It gives your best stuff an opportunity to rest, and you can use your roster differently throughout the course of the season. You know, one thing I had to kind of adjust myself to understanding over the course of 4 years of covering this team on this channel, it's made me respect the journey of a long 82-game season, because every night there are going to be things that you're best for doing. But if you do those things every night, there's a good chance you're going to run your team into the ground. Sometimes you're just going to have to sacrifice your best strategy sometimes for the durability of the fullness of your roster. And that's a hard concept to grasp. Because from night to night, you can say, well, I need this guy on the floor for 40 minutes and that guy on the floor for 40 minutes. But maybe trying to strategize how to keep him healthy, you only put him on the floor for 30 minutes and you live with the 10 minutes where you could potentially had better having him on the floor. Not being the case so that you can keep him healthy. So when you're strategizing 82 games, these are the type of games that you just tend to sacrifice your better strategy for the bigger picture. And I had to mature to believe that is not something I believed as a fan. But as I start to cover the team, it's forced me to look at these things a little differently. And this is one of those games where I struggled with that. Because for me, it's like, okay, we got Bronny James and Adou Thiero down there in the G League. We didn't even call them up for this one. They played tonight in the G League, and I'm sure they got more minutes than they would have gotten tonight. However, when you look at the team that we're facing tonight, this is a team with Ace Bailey, Keontae George, young players, Bryce Sensabaugh, Collier Williams. You know, you want your more athletic players to face this squad. And while you never expect Ayton to go down in the first half, so you expect that you would have him on the floor to kind of cover up some of your mistakes with the lack of athleticism and the elderly out there that we were running around. What you ended up having was him removed from the game, and then we had to keep more of our of Maxi Kleber on the floor. So you're working LeBron James and Gabe Vincent into the rotation, and now you're forced to use Maxi Kleber. So what does that mean? That means three of your least youthful players are on the floor a good portion of the time on the road against a young, youthful basketball team. It was hard to watch because we were giving up basketball plays, and it was because we were slow to things. Slow to things because we're old, slow to things because those guys who are old ain't been playing all season, so they're basically in their preseason, all three of them. It just is not what you want to see when you're going up against an athletic club. However, when you consider the Utah Jazz are basically a tanking club, 5-11, you probably want to do this against them rather than a team that you consider to be a serious ball club. But I believe that we pushed some of our least most productive, expected to be productive stuff to the front of the line, and we asked to play the majority of this game, and we barely won the game. And I had a hard time with that. From possession to possession, I'm just saying, yo, we're too old, and we don't have to be. We don't have to be. We got Dalton Connect. We ain't using Vanderbilt. We pushed him all the way off the rotation, which means you're pushing people like Gabe Vincent and Maxi Kleber to the front of the line. What does that mean? It means you've gotten older. It means you've gotten shorter. It means your cohesiveness is less likely to be in place because those guys have played less minutes up until this point. You're coming off of 4 days rest, and then you're asking guys who haven't played all season to play the most minutes. It's just like, yo, all of this comes together, and you're lucky you won this game because you essentially pushed your worst stuff to the front of the line and told it to represent you. This is the problem I had with a good portion of Coach Ham's tenure as a Laker coach. He did this every night for 2 years straight. So we had better stuff on the back of the bench and barely playing while he's believing in players that ultimately left him with the least amount of production. It was bad basketball to watch. And tonight, we saw a Coach Ham-like type game. Just being real, that's exactly what I saw, a Coach Ham-like type game. And I'm telling you, our roster doesn't have to do that. We don't have to do that. We got young players. You know what I mean? I got Bronny James. I got Nick Smith. I got Jake LaRavia. I got, Dalton Connect. I got, who else? What's the young fella's name? Adou Thiero. I don't need to be watching old people run at all. I don't have to. We chose to put our oldest stuff at the front of the line. And we barely won, man. We barely won. And if Coach continues to do this, our losses are going to pile up, yo. I'm just going to be honest with you. The losses are going to pile up. You're not going to win basketball games doing that. I know people believe in vets. I'm telling you, old teams do not win. Better check out with the Clippers, see what's going on with them. They put together an old team, and they're losing. Look at over there in Sacramento with these people with all these veterans. These veterans, they can't run. They can't run in today's league, man. You better check the field out and look at the old teams and see how they're doing. And then understand why you can't do this. Coach JJ, you can't do this, bro. You got to get Vanderbilt back in rotation. He makes you taller. He makes you younger. You got to get Dalton Connect back in rotation. He makes you taller. He makes you younger. This Gabe Vincent crap, even though I thought Gabe played pretty well, if you're going to slap him next to Maxi Kleber and have LeBron James coming in, them dudes, they're too old, man. It's going to equate to you having less defensive production. That's exactly what it's going to equate to you. And we were a bad defensive team tonight. And lucky Markkanen was having an off night. Because if he was playing like he's been playing, they probably would have blew us out. You know, and so that was my take on this game, man. The Jazz shot poorly for their standards. This is a team that can score 150 points. They only dropped 106. We got lucky to have run into them tonight. especially with the old stuff that we were running out there. We were old, man. Old, tired, and lacking in connectivity, man. And then, you know, our the stars that we have, they don't provide much in that area themselves as it pertains to athleticism. Luka ain't gonna be athletic. Austin ain't athletic. Rui doesn't particularly find himself overly athletic. So now you got all unathletic stuff on the floor. And you didn't bench Vanderbilt. He's one of your more, you know, spry players in that regard. Dalton Knecht getting benched. These are two of your more wingy type of players that can jump and bounce a little bit. You don't want to have them not play, and then you're inserting Kleber and Vincent into the equation in their stead. You got significantly older, shorter, and less likely to be able to compete with a young team like Utah Jazz, man. I just, no. I don't want to see too many games like this anymore. I don't. If this is the product we're going to be running out there, we're not going to be better for it. You think this, do you think you got the record that you have doing this? 12-4 record with this crap? No, those guys were out. They weren't playing. There wasn't no Gabe Vincent. You didn't have no Max Kleber. You didn't have LeBron James. Those guys were out, and that's what got us where we were going, because we kept enough youth out there to run with the field, and we ran past the field. If you push all this old crap to the front of the line, that dynamic goes away, and so too does your productivity. So this is a game that gave us a glimpse of what it looks like when you use your roster this way, man. It doesn't work. And I would tell our GM, you better get this stuff off your team, man. I'm telling you, you got to get the Gabe Vincents and the Maxi Klebers, even though Maxi was great, he had a good night. You can get these people off your team, bro, because if we have to lean on these people, you're going to see your productivity go downward. You do not want to have to lean on these people. You beat the Jazz tonight. You will not beat the Suns this way. You will not beat the Raptors this way. You put this crap on the floor against those teams, they're going to beat you. I'm just telling the truth. And so I understand that this, like I said, you know, throughout the course of a 82-game schedule, there are going to be some nights where you're going to forego strategy to give guys a breather and to work other guys in and all of that. But we're trying to work too many old people into the equation at the same time, slapping them next to unathletic stars. This is not going to work. You cannot beat too many teams in this league doing this. And so I thought it was tough watching that fourth quarter, because you just saw a bunch of old people not being able to keep up with young people, and they kept rushing back into it. We turned the ball over, we mess up a lob here, and they just kept running. And, you know, if this team was even half as decent as most of the teams in this league, they would have closed the game out and won it down the stretch. Utah made some you know, youngin' mistakes. Most teams, you give them this opportunity against that bunch, they're going to beat them. You know what I mean? And so that's what I see there. I did not like how our roster was utilized tonight by our coach. We need to get Abdul Thero in rotation. Hey, look, I was listening to who was I listening to? I believe it was Laker Nation today, and they were essentially having a conversation. Briefly, somebody had asked a question like, "Why did?" I think he was explaining to us why Abdul Thero was down in the G League when we have a game tonight. And he told everybody essentially what Trevor was saying was, you know, it's a long season. We want to give Abdul Thero an opportunity to come in. We don't want to throw too much of them too quick. We want to get them minutes down there in the G League. And for Abdul, I agree. This is great. All of that sound. Here's the problem. Your roster, it doesn't have no athleticism on it. It doesn't have any athleticism on it. Abdul Thero is one of the most athletic players in the NBA, and our team is severely deficient in athleticism. You can't afford to say, "Oh, Abdul will wait, stay down in the G League, we'll run with our old guys and our unathletic superstars." No, you barely beat the Jazz by 2 because of that. That can't be going on while you're sitting 2 of your more sizable wings. No, you can't. It doesn't work. Why do you feel good about Vanderbilt sitting? Because you have Abdul Thero to replace him. If you don't have Abdul Thero to replace him, you need Vanderbilt's size and speed and all of that, and his tenacity. You need that. And so I'm vehemently against all of what I saw tonight. This Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, you know, crap. I don't need that. No disrespect to Maxi, because I legitimately think he played well, but that's not the point. That's not the point, man. Half the time he was out there, he couldn't keep up with the centers. They were pushing him around. He jumped high, they jump higher type stuff. We were giving up so much in the paint. he did the best he could, and I thought he was good. But for his standards, a standard that I need to be higher, ceiling that just needs to be higher than what he's capable of doing at this stage in his career. I like what he does chipping in, but he can't be the guy I'm leaning on down the stretch of a basketball game. No. And as I said about Gabe Vincent many times, because he's like only 2 or 3 inches taller than me, he's an easy person to shoot over. He gets targeted. He's the open guy that you're going to work the ball around to try to target, to defend, to have him defend your players, man. You just end up giving up too much on the defensive end, even though he's a good defensive player. Throughout the course of what it is you're doing, you're giving up points. You're hemorrhaging points. And you saw that in the second half. And LeBron, while he's trying to get himself back into shape, he does not need to be surrounded by people who are struggling to be athletic, struggling to be of size, struggling to make plays. Like, he don't need to be on the floor with that type of stuff, because he makes that worse while he's trying to get himself back in order. He better be next to players that are athletic, who can complement what he already brings to the table, to exude his strengths, and guys who can hit open shots. I just don't. I think there are ways you can make any roster look its worst. And tonight I thought we, again, pushed all our worst stuff to the front of the line and asked it to play the most minutes. It was not a good game for JJ Redick. If we would have lost, the nail would have been driven home about this a bit more, that we won, we got away with it. But this is the type of thing that you just do not want to see the Los Angeles Lakers ever have to find themselves doing, man. It's asking our veterans to play the majority of minutes in a close basketball game. It's not the best way to utilize this roster if you're serious about beating an athletic team. Now, if you're going up against a Clippers or a team that doesn't have a whole lot of athleticism, you probably still don't want to do this, but you probably get away with it. You know what I mean? But most of the league is not like this. Most of the league will not allow you to get away with this. Most of the league will run past you doing this. And so, I had a hard time with this game. I just had PTSD from Darvin Ham. That's what this was. This was some Darvin Ham nonsense, bro. And I had a hard time watching it. And I was angry. The more the game continued to get closer and closer to down the stretch, I'm watching our lead disappear. I'm watching our guys get ran past. And I'm just saying to myself, I don't have this problem for real. This is a choice. We are choosing to dumb ourselves down right now. And I understand throughout the course of the season it may make sense to keep guys healthy, but when you're trying to strategize a specific basketball game, you really, really bite yourself in the backside doing this. And I hated watching it so much. I really did. I thought my roster looked bad tonight. Really bad, man. But, I'll say this. This is another one of those games where I'm looking and I'm saying, man, Luka Doncic makes me feel a lot better, even though he does need to hit his free throws down the stretch of basketball games and just in general. He hit 10 of 12, which is only 2 misses, but one of the misses he missed was down the stretch. He must focus in on improving in that area. But he makes you feel so much more confident that you can win a basketball game. He makes the game look so easy. And if he had a good complementary of pieces around him tonight that were just functioning properly, we would have won this game with ease off of him. But the big 11-point lead that we built within the last 7 minutes of the game got erased in 3 minutes because of just everything I've already said, just our lack of all things athletic and youth. It was an ugly struggle down the last 4 minutes of this basketball game. It was a significantly ugly struggle, a choke job, and our guys were trying, but they could only do but so much. And I just thought the rotations down the stretch were awful. Leaning on Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber roster lineups is a nightmare. Really, no matter who you're going up against in this league, it should never be done. So JJ, I thought the rotations tonight were Darvin-esque, man. I really did. I thought you were Darvin Ham-esque tonight. So yeah, this did not feel like a win to me. We won the game, but I have less positive things to say. Salute to Kobe Bennett. Then I have negative things to say. It was not good to watch this tonight for me. I had a harder time with this, and I think most people did. I really hated watching this basketball game. But Like I said, kudos to the guys for getting it done. I thought the effort was good. The same people I'm complaining about, I thought they played hard. I thought they gave their all. It wasn't like they were lacking in effort. But a big part of why all of this comes together is because DeAndre Ayton is a significant safety net on offensive reboundings, defensive. He changes a lot of shots down there for the defensive rebounding. He's a safety net. He masks a lot of what the problem is down there. And when he's not out there, you have that same dynamic we've had for the last 3 years when you don't have a legitimate center out there and you're asking people to do things that they probably should not be asked to do. It's been the dynamic of the Lakers for the last 4 years, more or less. And Ayton's just kind of almost single-handedly taking that away. That dynamic is just not the same when he's out there doing what he does, getting easy buckets, being efficient in the paint. It just makes basketball easier. So I think we need to get another center that can kind of duplicate some of that so that when Ayton's out, we still have some of that out there. I think that's a very important thing to consider for this roster if we want to be as good as we need to be, because if Ayton's going to miss games, we're going to look like we did against, when we had Darvin running things, just off the strength of what our roster looks like when Ayton's not out there. Not athletic enough, not able to keep up, I don't think. So, yeah, I still think our center position needs to be addressed. I like what I saw from Jackson Hayes, but like I said, that dynamic is not masked by Jackson Hayes. He doesn't attack in the paint, get easy buckets repeatedly. He's not somebody you can just dump the ball to and just get a jump hook repeatedly. You know what I mean? It just breaks the defense down in such a way that makes things easier for the guys surrounding him. So you need another one of those pieces, man. You need another one. So that's really my take on things, man. Jake LaRavia should have been on the floor a lot more. Vanderbilt should have gotten minutes. Connect should have gotten minutes in this basketball game. The athleticism, the youth, the speed, the height and the length. I just do not appreciate when Gabe Vincent's on the floor taking that away from our roster. We do not find ourselves 12-4 if we would be using Gabe Vincent all season the way that we're using him right now. It's all about height, man. It's all about height, because nobody else on that floor is short except for Marcus Smart, who doesn't play small at all. But Gabe is slight and short, and that's a problem. That's a real problem for this roster. That's lacking in athleticism. And given the fact he was on the floor for 20 minutes, it's 20 minutes too many, man. I'm sorry. And like I said, I thought he was okay. But he only hit one shot. He attempted one shot, hit one shot, got one board. That's 20 minutes of production that just is nothing. That's literally nothing, y'all. It's too many minutes for somebody that's not projected to do anything. And it's constantly getting targeted on the defensive end. So, yeah, I had a hard time, man. It was like watching a Darvin Ham-led basketball team tonight, and I just don't ever want to see that again. I don't ever want to see that again, man. Call up Adu Thero, call back Bronny James, call back up Nick Smith Jr., play Vanderbilt some more, play Connect more, give me my youth back. BDL 44, I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.